We've uncovered new information that could affect a story that we've been following for weeks here. You remember Pedro Zepeda? He's the illegal immigrant dishwasher who worked in the United States for over 10 years, saved $59,000, only to have the U.S. government seize all of it when he tried to leave the country with his cash savings. Well, now it turns out there was a similar case that we have found that made it all the way to the nation's highest court, and the immigrant in that case got nearly all of his money back. Could that case give Pedro new reason to hope? Our John Zarrella's been following it for us. He's joining us from Fort Lauderdale Airport with the latest. What do you got, John?
Hey, Rick, well, you know that law that says you can't travel outside the country if you don't declare if you're carrying more than $10,000 was originally designed to keep drug traffickers from taking their proceeds out of the country. So Pedro Zepeda is far from the first person to ever have his money taken. But his case, his fate may be linked to what the Supreme Court decided in another case. Pedro Zepeda was going home to Guatemala with nearly every penny he made as a dishwasher in Stuart, Florida. $59,000 in cash, all in a duffel bag when it was seized. The government isn't giving it back, all because he says he simply made a mistake.
Truthfully, I didn't know I had to declare the money. There was nothing bad about that money.
Under U.S. law, you must declare if you're carrying more than $10,000 cash out of the country. Whether Pedro ultimately gets his money back may hinge on what happened to this man, Josep Bajikazian, a California gas station owner. In 1994, Bajikazian, a Syrian immigrant, was leaving Los Angeles with $357,000 in cash, money to pay back loans to family. U.S. Customs seized it. Listen to what he said at the time.
I didn't know about really the law, and I was scared of the customs in Syria because if they get your money, they take it.
Sound familiar? In Pedro's case, prosecutors said Zepeda gave conflicting stories about the cash when he was confronted. What did Bajikazian do?
They asked me a question, if you had the money. I said no, it was the mistake on my behalf. I was scared, really.
There are differences, too. Pedro is illegal and didn't pay taxes on all he earned. Bajikazian is a legal immigrant who paid taxes. Bajikazian sued to get his money back, and his case went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, which ruled the gas station owners should get all but $15,000 back. Any more, the nation's highest court said, was excessive, disproportionate to the crime.
To me, it's a bully taking advantage of a much weaker individual.
James Blatt represented Josep Bajikazian. To him, the Zepeda case is an outrage.
The spirit of Bajikazian is to be fair, to be decent to people who have made a mistake but have lawfully earned the money and were taking the money out or in for a lawful purpose.
Pedro was leaving Fort Lauderdale Airport, taking the money home to Guatemala, he says, to build a home for his mother and sisters when it was seized. In its complaint, the U.S. government said that Pedro Zepeda passed not one, but two signs that stated the U.S. government requirement that anyone carrying more than $10,000 in cash must report it. So we came here to the international terminal at Fort Lauderdale International Airport. And guess what? We can't find any signs. I asked security screeners, ticket agents, airport employees. No one knew where to find a sign. They may have been here 2 years ago when Pedro was stopped. Not anymore. The government will not comment on the case, so now Zepeda waits for his appeal, hoping the case of a dishwasher ends the same way as that of a gas station owner.
Well, wait a minute, John. If there's no signs, or at least none that you saw, and if nobody at the ticket counter said, hey, are you carrying more than $10,000? Then how's an average citizen, no less somebody who's from a different country, to know that they're supposed to declare it?
Well, that's the question, and what actually happened with Pedro, of course, was he stopped by screeners. They immediately called the interdiction task force because Pedro's giving conflicting statements. They think it's drug money, so they seize his money thinking it's drug money. But no, you're right. We asked, and the people we talked to at ticket counter said, look, You can get that form when you get your form on the airplane, but Pedro was stopped before he ever got through the screening process.
Right, right. And
it's
that
a
makes
tough one, Rick.
Yeah, I talked to my sources, my friends down there where you are, as a matter of fact, with immigration. They're saying he's really got a heck of a case if the only persons who ever detected it were the screeners and not the guys at the ticket counter. John Zarella, as usual, great work keeping up on top of the story for us. We'll get back to you.